Hey everybody, how are we? I am so sorry for running late. Just some of the joys of tech. Alright, so I'm going to get myself all plugged in here because I didn't do that before because I wanted to be here on time. So, what's everybody doing today? Tonight. You guys, I swear, hey Jamie, I swear, hey Courtney, I swear it sounds like there's a mouse in my cabinet. Oh my gosh. So, girls, I am just doing the last minute thing here. It's tech issue. Or is it a Jamie issue? Hi, Anna. How are you? Alright, so I swear there's a mouse. I'm gonna have to go on a mouse hunt tonight. So tonight, guys, we are gonna talk about self-abandonment. And I'm just doing some final things. I need one more plugin and I don't have it. How self-abandonment affects our success. And can you guys hear me okay? Because last week I felt like I was way too quiet. So I'm going to get a couple of things moved around. Huh? You guys might have to keep up on the comments for me because they don't scroll the same way on my screen as they do for you guys, I don't think. All right. See. It was stinking so nice today. I don't know if it was for you guys or not, but whew, it was beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started because I know people will come in as they can. And you know, I was thinking about opening the group to a public group tonight so that people could share out the live. Jamie, I do sound good. Okay, perfect. I have to do this where does Jamie look again thing. So if there's a mouse that crawls out, you guys, I'm gonna scream. So we'll get started if I can because I'm very distracted. Oh, we need our music. That was part of the problem, huh? See, this is why I'm crazy. Let's find some music. What did we listen to last week? I do remember. Seems like it was relaxing yoga music. Let's do that. Which is so funny because I'm so high strung. So, for anybody that doesn't know me yet, I am Jamie Marie, and I am basically your biggest cheerleader behind the scenes. And more exciting than that, I am the creator of Rewrite Your Life Story program, and I help women rewrite their life story to unlock their passions and dreams. Oh my gosh. You guys can laugh at me if I look that way. We use a simple framework that identifies the deepest parts of your soul and the joys and failures that you've experienced. So then we look at the unique and intricate pieces that make up you. So that is who I am. And if you are here watching live, I'd love for you to share with us in the comments. Actually, if you're watching the replay as well, drop in the comments where you're from. We'd love to find out more about you. And I think I said it last time, it makes it so much more fun when you guys engage and comment and share so that I am not talking to myself. But that is why I'm here as well, to serve you. So last week we did a live training on what self-abandonment was. And so we talked about what it looks like in your life, what areas it comes into play, maybe the things that it's come from in your past, and then how you can also stop abandoning yourself as well. So that's what we talked about last week. And if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely you're going to want to make time. Maybe set it aside while you're driving or doing the dishes, taking a shower, so that you can listen to it because it was so amazing. And you definitely do not want to miss out on that. So if you guys see me looking back and forth, I am trying to check comments, but also try to make sure I stay on schedule with my notes as well, because I do respect your guys' time. And I am so grateful that you guys are here. I think you're going to get a lot out of tonight. It is on fire. So tonight what we're going to talk about is what is self-sabotage and the ways that you may sabotage your own dreams, your own life, possibly even yourself and your success, how it shows up and what it looks like in our lives, and then how we can eliminate that pattern in our life, because that's what self-sabotage is it's definitely a pattern, and I've experienced it a lot in my life as well. So I want to encourage you guys through tonight as we go, that this is something that you can stop. This is something that I can teach you guys how to deal with, how to rewrite those patterns in your life. And it's a process. It's not going to go away overnight, but we're going to talk about that. So the first thing I always like to do, for some reason, I don't know why, I love definitions of words. And so the first thing that I want to give you guys is the definition of sabotage. And we obviously know what it means, but when we hear the definition, it gives it so much more power as to what it is and about what it does in our life as well. So sabotage is to deliberately destroy, damage, or obstruct something. Okay, so if you think of this in a sense of ourselves, I'm going to tilt this a little bit. Hopefully you don't see the mess behind me. If you guys think about your own life and yourself, what ways do you deliberately, or maybe even subconsciously, destroy, damage, or obstruct your dreams, or the life that you've wanted to always live? And I feel that that definition brings so much more power to it, and so much more realness to what we're doing in our lives. So basically, it's a good way to conceal who we are, what our dreams are, what our identity is, so that we can protect ourselves from the hurt that may come with being vulnerable, or the hurt that may come with achieving or even reaching for our goals and for our dreams. And something that comes to mind for me there is one of my biggest statements and phrases that I love to say is, we fail forward. We don't fail. Okay? We fail forward because we always learn from it. We always learn from the experience, and we never go into it the same way. Even though some of us might be slow learners. Is there anybody slow learner in the house? Me. And I have lots of friends that tell me that, so I know that that's true. And that may be true for you as well. Jamie or Courtney, is that music too loud? Anna, let me know if it is. The comments always, hey Emma, I'm so glad you're here. So, self-sabotage is any behavior, thought, or emotion or action that holds you or keeps you away from what you desire the most in your life. So as I always say, it's a prison. It's a prison of our mind. It's a prison of our heart. And we have to be able to release that and learn how to handle that. The behaviors that are said to be self-sabotaging create those problems in our daily life, and they interfere with our long-standing goals that we might have. Or if we're really fearful, we might actually diminish and say, oh, that's not my dream. That's not my dream. I'm fine. I'm fine. And I don't know if anybody's done that in here before or not, but I am guilty of that before. And maybe like just numbing it and saying I'm not worth it. And that is not the case. That's not the case at all. So it's basically an internal story, a limiting belief inside of ourselves that says, you can't do this. It's not going to work. You're not going to be successful. Has anybody ever experienced that or felt that way? And there go the commercials again. So that's just an internal voice in our heart and in our mind that's trying to keep us protected. It's a subconscious trying to protect us from the fear or the pain or the rawness almost that we feel. And it makes me think of when I went to therapy years ago, I would sit on the therapist's couch and we'd be talking and it'd be a very vulnerable, raw conversation, right? That's what you do with the therapist. And I remember saying, I feel really naked sitting here on this couch. And I laughed because I was like, oh my God, that sounded so bad. But at the same time, it's so real. Sometimes doing those things that scare us, that scare us to death, make us feel like we're standing on a stage naked and everybody's going to laugh at us. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced that, but it's real. I mean, I love to come on here, do trainings. I love it. There's nothing that fills my heart more than to serve you guys and to train. Even if we don't have the engagement at the moment in time, even if we don't have the people, it fills me up because I know that I can touch lives. I can touch women's lives. And you have a mission just like that as well. For you, it may be something different, but there's something for you that lights you on fire. That it doesn't matter what it was. You could talk and do it all day long, and you would still feel that same joy and that same excitement, right? So, self-sabotage is real. It is a conflict that is basically between our conscious desires and then our unconscious wants that show up as those patterns. It's not to keep you from reaching those goals and dreams, but like I said, it's to keep you safe. It's your brain's way of saying, whoa, 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 this might hurt. This might hurt bad. And so it keeps us within the confines of our comfort zone. And I don't know if anybody else has ever been there, but I like my comfort zone. But it's better to push yourself, to get out of your own way, and to push yourself into these scary things. We can't grow unless we really face that, fear, and we do what we're meant to do. So let's see if, first of all, does anybody have any comments? Let's check and see. Okay. So the girls are getting everybody tagged in the group so that you guys can come join us and get notified. I love that. Thank you, girls. I appreciate you so much. And let's just keep on moving. So I want to know, are you caught up in the cycle of self-sabotage? And if so, how has it shown up in your life? And I would love for you to share that with us. When you share like that, it helps encourage other women to know that they're not alone and that there's other women that face the same things, and maybe even some of you can share how you've overcome these things as we go through tonight's training. So have you ever wanted to do something so bad for so long and have tried so dang hard, but time and time again, you ended up failing or you ended up stopping before it was finished? Or maybe you got close to those goals and those dreams, but suddenly you took a stop and were like, I can't do this. Have you ever set goals for yourself that you just, no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't reach them? That's a form of self-sabotage as well. It may seem like, oh, we just can't get there. We just can't reach that dream or that goal. But really and truly, it's ourselves getting in our own way. And sometimes you might wonder, okay, well, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns, the same behaviors? Why do I keep seeing the same thing happen over and over and still have the same sucky ass results? Oops, I didn't mean to cuss. Mom, if you're on here, I'm sorry. I'm 40 years old and I'm apologizing to my mother. She's such an angel though. But that's what it is. It gets frustrating and you're like, why do I have these same damn results? And again, I'm sorry, but I'm going to get passionate about this. I'm going to get very passionate about this tonight, you guys, because this is such a limiting belief that we struggle with. And it's just a story in our minds that say we can't do what we want to do. So all of us, at some point or another in our lives, we go through this, or it can become a lifelong pattern that we stay stuck in. And most of us go through this like clockwork every single day, and maybe don't even recognize it. For instance, me, I love to run. I love to run. I love to go to the gym. But you know what? Every day I find something else I need to do because I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to do that. That's still me sabotaging what I want because I love to do that. So it may not seem like that, but that is exactly what it is. So what also happens though is we don't live up to our full potential in any area of our lives when we do that because we're not acknowledging and recognizing who we are, and we're self-abandoning, like we talked about last week. We're self-abandoning our dreams and our hopes and our wants. So we constantly live in a state of regret, right? We constantly live in this state of, well, I wonder what if. I wonder what would have happened if I did this, or if I tried that. I wonder what if. I wonder if I could. And we get stuck in those thoughts. And again, as we go along, if anybody has anything that they see that they struggle with self-sabotage wise, definitely drop it in the comments. I want to hear from you. I want to engage with you and talk with you. But this is a limiting pattern in our heart and our mind. So if you think about all that we've talked about and how self-sabotage happens, it probably makes you think like, okay, so I do this. So if I do this, what do I do to get unstuck? Or what do I do to avoid doing this? Or how do I get real with myself? And if you are not sure how to be real with yourself and how to acknowledge your wants and your needs, I definitely encourage you to go back and watch last week's training on self-abandonment because it was so powerful. And it'll help with this conversation. And I see Jamie said, what you said, Jamie? So Jamie said, yes, I spend so much time doing what I feel like I have to do and spend so little time on what I really love and want to do. Absolutely. Absolutely, Jamie. That is so powerful. And I think that as women, we are all guilty of doing that in some form or another. So is there a solution? Is there a solution for self-sabotage? And how does it make you feel inside? How does abandoning yourself, sabotaging your own dreams, and living with that regret, and living with that what if, how does that feel inside? Because I know for me it feels yucky. I get so heavy, so down. For example, when I went through a difficult time in life, which you would have to go back a few videos to be able to see and hear that story. I wasn't doing what I was made to do, and I became very depressed, very sad, very just emotionally heavy. And I think I gave that energy off to others as well. So we have to be able to identify those things and then find the solution. And I'm going to share some solutions with you tonight because these things all affect our success. They all affect the things that we're capable of doing in the manner that we do them. You're not ever stuck. You're never stuck in this land of poor me. Okay? You're never stuck. And I once had a friend tell me that the only person you can depend on is yourself. And I'll be honest, when I first heard that, I was like, oof, I don't like that. I can depend on a lot of people. But truly, ultimately, if you think about it, I'm the person that tells myself who I am. I'm the person that allows these thoughts in my mind. I'm the person that allows my heart to feel what I let it feel. So truly, The only person I can depend on is myself. And it finally clicked one day. It clicked after I made so much more, did so much more inner work. So the reason that we sabotage ourselves, I'm sorry guys, I have something in my eye. It lingers in our lives. I kind of see it as like a hover, like it's hovering over us. Just enough to keep us captive. And if you think of like, okay, you go to the store, right, and you put your receipt in your pocket, and you forget the receipts in the pocket, and you go wash your jeans. You go wash your jeans, you pull them out, you put them in the dryer, and before you know it, you notice there's pieces of that receipt in the dryer. You clean it out, right? Get all that out of the dryer, and then you go about your day. And later on, the next time you wear a certain pair of pants that were in that load, or actually, I'm sorry, when you wear the pants that have the receipt that were in that load, you might reach into your pocket and there's just the tiniest little piece of that receipt still hanging on inside that pocket. And that's what this is like. You can do all kinds of work, but you may just hold on to that one thing so it can linger because of that fear of succeeding. But it ultimately comes down to low self-esteem or a lack of self-esteem and self-worth, self-confidence, believing in yourself. And those are all things we can work on internally. They're all things that we can change if we try. So self-sabotage patterns are real. Very real. And they've held me captive for years. We tend to react to events, circumstances, and people when we get into that mode that hinders our progress and hinders us from reaching for those goals, reaching for those dreams, reaching for that success. And I know many times that you guys have probably heard it too, the statement that you become the 5 people that you hang around the most, right? And I never really, I won't lie, I never believed it. So I'm like, no, I'm a happy person. I'm always happy, I'm bubbly. And for those of you that have little children and you stay at home, maybe you'll know what I'm talking about. But when my kids are little, I realized like, oh my gosh, I need a job. I need a job outside the house. I need a job with people, with women. I'm beginning to talk like a 5-year-old. Can anybody feel me? Has anybody experienced that? So real. And we do become the 5 people that we're around the most. So I challenge you to think about who you are around the most. What 5 people are you around? And in what ways do they impact you? In what ways do they impact your success or your self-belief or your self-worth? And I challenge you to really think about that. There may be some of them that you need to weed your garden and plant new friends. Plant more that are just like you. And that's why I love this group of women, because we are all bold and courageous women that want to take steps to achieve our dreams. And we're willing to do whatever it takes, no matter how hard it is, to achieve our dreams. And I think that's so powerful. Gosh, you guys, I keep feeling like I'm looking at the bottom of my screen. So self-sabotage is a way that we can cope with the situation or the fears or the beliefs that we might have of we can't do this or that dream is too big, right? And no matter what our reason is, struggle with it. But no matter what that reason is, if we don't do anything about it, we're going to continue to live a life of regrets and unfulfilled expectations. And the thing I would ask you is, and I would love it if you guys could put it in the comments and share with us, what do you want your legacy to be? When you die, when your obituary is written, when your children go back, or your great great grandchildren, sorry, not your children, when they go back, what do you want them to know about you? What do you want them to see that you accomplished in your life, or who you touched and reached? What would you want your legacy to say? Or what will your legacy say? And if anybody's brave enough, I would love for you to post that and share that with the other women. For me, I want mine to say that I reached hundreds of thousands of women, that I helped give them the boldness and the confidence, and that I pushed them to reach for more. I pushed them to get outside of their box and outside of their own world, and strive to be the best version of themselves. I would want it to say that I stood on stages, that I had dance parties on stages. I know we're not having a dance party tonight because I have calming music on, but I think this is a topic that deserves calming music. So that's what I would want mine to say. So I ask you what you would want yours to say. And I always yawn because I get so relaxed and so calm. So let me check my notes. Make sure that we are on schedule. Okay, perfect. So sabotage is going to come in many forms. It's going to show up in our lives in so many different ways. Nobody's is going to show up the same. So some of the ways, and these I'm actually going to have to read because there's a lot of them, but some of the ways that we can sabotage our own success is succumbing to the fear of failure, holding ourselves back from taking risks. You know what, as I'm doing this, if one of these strikes you and it's just like, oh, that's me, post that for me. Drop a comment. So we give in to the fear of failure, risks. We may not be proactive in what we're doing because we're scared to make a mistake. I was so guilty of that for so long. And then I said, I can't do that anymore because I'll never do anything if I do that, right? We don't listen to our hearts and to our gut. We ignore it. We abandon it. Or maybe we don't take the time to plan ahead and think ahead. Here we go again. Maybe you're not able to say no to others. Last week I shared a big example about that. Let me look and see. We don't take the time to identify how the choices we make are going to affect others. So maybe that means we don't take time to think carefully through our decisions. We're impulsive. We don't think critically or realistically about our our circumstances. And those are very, very real things, especially I think sometimes as women, because we're just on the go, 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 and we'll make a decision, split the second decision, and sometimes maybe it's not the best decision. Maybe it's sabotaging the things that we want to do. Again, my example of the gym, right? We have too much pride to admit when we make a mistake, or we worry all the time, nonstop. And I shared last week that something that I've been working on a great deal is that we can't worry about the things we can't change. We can't worry about the things we can't control. And when we do, by worrying about that, we're wasting energy that we could be putting into something else. So that's a hard one to rewire, especially as a mom and a woman. We're made to be nurturers and caregivers. So that is something that's very hard to change, but we can. Anytime I start to worry, I now, because I've been working so hard on it, I will now ask myself, can I change this? Can I change this right now? Can I control this? And if the answer is no, I don't need to sit and worry about it. Either I'll grab my journal, I'll write it out real quick so I can get it out of my head and out of my heart, or I will just dismiss the thought and come back to it later when I can change it or when I can control it. So sometimes it looks like a critical voice that just nags and nags, like we talked about a minute ago. Comparison trap. Or maybe we're always complaining about other people and or maybe our own life and the circumstances we're in. Okay, life, bad luck, finances, um, just never being grateful for what we have. Perfectionism, procrastination, those are self-sabotaging habits. Accepting other people's advice and beliefs about certain topics without really questioning it or thinking about it. So it's just struggling with a limiting belief about ourselves that we have to rewrite. We have to get rid of those stories and move into an upper story where we actually believe in ourselves and we believe in our heart that we're capable of doing anything that we want to do. The other thing is if we regularly focus, and this one's a big one for me as well lately, if we're regularly looking at what is not working or wishful things, wishful daydreams, then we're looking at what we don't have. Instead, let's look where we want to go. Let's fail forward, right? Yeah, we may not have this. Yes, we may not have that. But who's to say that we can't reach for that? We can't strive to get that. So we have to instead look at the things and reach for the things that we desire to have rather than complaining and focusing on what we don't. And we have an awesome training inside the group as well that it talks about living life with an attitude of gratitude rather than expectation. And boy, I can tell you guys, doing that for myself, living from a standpoint of gratitude rather than expectations has changed me so much. And I really encourage you guys to check that one out because it's so powerful. So powerful, so real. So when it comes to our limiting thoughts, we have to pay close attention to the excuses, because it's ultimately what they are, to the excuses that we make to keep us from moving forward. And so that may be, this won't work. I can't do this. I'm too busy right now. Oh, I'm just not ready yet. Right? Has anybody said those things? Anybody? I'm just not good enough. Who am I to do this? So things like that are going to keep you stuck. You can't talk to yourself like that. You have to believe in yourself so you can move forward, so you can take steps to get to where you want to be. I'm going to take a drink real quick because I'm getting very scratchy, which is so funny because I love to talk. So when it comes to our limiting beliefs, though, again, we have to rewrite that story. So for me, I call the negative limiting beliefs, I call that our lower story. And the beliefs that are positive, that are encouraging for us, I call that our upper story. So throughout trainings, you guys might hear me refer to lower story or upper story, and that's what I'm talking about. I believe most people use that same mindset though as well. So each of those statements that we tell ourselves affects our success in a massive way, because that little sliver of that receipt, that little sliver of that negative self-talk is still in our pocket, and we carry it with us every day. We have to eliminate that little receipt. We have to finally let it go and throw it in the trash where it belongs. So I just had a thought, but I think I need to share it at a different point. So the thing I would like to do and have you guys do is, as you feel those things come up, sit down and write them out. Pinpoint what that thought is, what that feeling is, or what that action is, that you're doing that's leading down the path to self-sabotage or to negative self-talk, okay? And that's the only way we can fix it, is we have to find those things that we do on a regular basis, the negative self-talk, and be able to then write down the opposite so that we can tell ourselves more loving things. That's what we deserve. We deserve that love and that encouragement and support. And that's one reason I have done this group and these trainings and this business. Trust me, it is not for money. I have over probably $20,000 invested in this business alone, and I have not made probably a single dime. So trust me when I say that it is not. It's my heart. It's my passion. I would do it every day for free. Okay? That's what you need to find. You need to find that joy, what brings you joy. And that's why we're doing these workshops and these trainings, because I want to light your soul on fire. I want you to know what you're made to do. So one way that I've done that before is basically four steps, okay? So we have to first identify that self-sabotaging behavior. And like I said, you can write those things out, as you notice them. Do it one by one, even if you have to. Recreate that that pattern in your mind so that you can then identify a new healthy behavior or a new healthy self-talk. And then we have to just practice it. We have to be able to identify it every time it happens and be able to go, oh, just did that. Now I'm going to do this positive instead, and I'm just going to keep practicing it on repeat anytime it comes up. And the more you do it, the better at it you're going to become, because it's not easy in the beginning. It may not be easy to identify those things. So by identifying the behavior, we become consciously aware of those things. And then we can pinpoint the specific trigger. Everything has a trigger. Everything has a reason that it has happened. And if we can identify that trigger of that negative thought and how it manifests in our life or in our heart or mind, it could be something that's a person, an object, a specific time of year or an event, location. It could be anything. And we have to be able to identify that and ask, what specifically triggers this behavior? And what exactly does this behavior look like in my life? And then we have to determine, is it possible to avoid this altogether? Which that goes back to, if you have anybody toxic, anybody that's triggering, that you can remove from your life, I would encourage you to do so, because it's holding you captive as well. So by removing those triggers, you're going to be better prepared to take a conscious control of your own thoughts and of your own feelings and your actions. And every limiting belief we have is tied back to a self-sabotaging pattern. And by identifying those and then changing them into empowering beliefs, we can change ourselves as a human. We can change ourselves as a mother, as a wife, as a friend, as an employee. We can change the magnitude of how we impact people in our everyday life simply by finding those limiting beliefs and changing them into positive, encouraging, empowering beliefs, statements. So, guess we need a drink again. So we have to really focus in on those negative, lower story things that we tell ourselves. And then, let's see if I'm on target still. Once you can do that, you're on the road to some great, massive, impactful changes. Everybody's going to see it in you. Everybody's going to see that glow in your face, that glow in your energy around you. You're going to become magnetic because people are going to say, I don't know what she's done, but she's done something and she's different, and I want that for me. I want that for me. It's not only going to change you doing this work, it's going to change others all around you. So, again, we identify it. We figure out how it manifests in our life. We plan out what we can do instead. Okay? So we identify a healthy behavior. And then we're going to practice it. And some of the things you can ask yourself is, when we're looking at a new healthy behavior. So things like, how and why would this, whatever your new healthy behavior is, be a better way to respond in the situation? Or what are some of the things or the reasons that I need to make this change for? What are the long-term benefits of changing this? What advantages am I going to see, right? What if that change, what if that change in yourself, what if that change in your home could bring you tremendous joy, tremendous confidence, and help you work to achieve your dream life? Work towards your dreams, work towards your success, and finally be able to accept it. What would that feel like? What would that feel like? I personally think that would feel incredible. And I should actually say it does feel incredible. Because years ago I couldn't have sat on here and talked to a camera all by myself. But now I know and hear. I know and hear that I need to share. I need to share my story. I need to allow other women to see their potential, because if I don't do that, that's selfish. I don't have this gift inside of me to keep to myself. You don't have your gift inside of you to keep to yourself. It's there for a reason. And it will bring you so much freedom. Like, I want to get on a platform right now and be like, go do this. Go change so you can be motivated to reach for your dreams. My own little Rachel Hollis moment right there. Except for she's a lot younger. So if you can't find a good enough reason to make a change, and this is why I'm telling you, you need to identify why you want to make that change. You're not going to care to. It's not going to become a priority for you to do so. It's not going to be a commitment that you're willing to follow through with. This limiting story that you tell yourself, your lower story, needs to be changed. It needs to be rewritten. It needs to be empowering so you can unlock your dreams. You can unlock your future, and you can walk a whole new journey that you may not have ever been able to. Don't get stuck in that victim mentality, or don't get stuck in that lower story. You have an upper story inside of yourself just waiting to come out. Just waiting for you. And it's so powerful. And Jessie just shared, let me read it real quick. Jessie said, our Bible verse today was 1 Peter 4:10. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others. Jessie, that's so perfect. I need to put that in the notes. It's so perfect, so dead on. Exactly that. Ugh, how powerful. Okay, so I got goosebumps. got goosebumps from that. That was pretty powerful. So by practicing that new habit until the new behavior is formed is so critical. Okay, so if you think about riding a bike, we can't learn to ride a bike if we don't practice. We can't become great at anything if we don't practice. We can't become, I think the only thing that we don't learn beforehand is how to be a mom, right? But we become better as we practice. Everything takes practice. We cannot expect change if we always do what we've always done. You'll get the same results. And Jamie said, our attitude and self-perception affects all around us too. It shouldn't be easier to be hard on ourselves than to have kindness and ease towards ourselves. And that is so true. Why are we so kind and so friendly and so loving to everybody else? But when it comes to ourselves, the one person that we can depend on in our life, we're so hard on ourselves. Why is that? And where does that come from in our society, even as a whole? Because everywhere you look, that's the case. So again, begin to practice that self-talk, that new positive self-talk, the empowering statements. And I know it sounds woo-woo-y and, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you're kind of crazy sitting around talking to yourself in a better way. But, I mean, truly, like, don't we all talk to ourselves when we're driving or cooking or having stories we're telling ourselves stories in our minds, we're telling ourselves things we need to do. That doesn't mean we're crazy, that means we're normal. So, what's different about changing the talk that we have towards ourselves and loving ourselves? Because self-care is so important. And Jesse said we have to think of our brain just like any other muscle. We have to train it. Small, consistent practice shows results. Mic drop. We're done. Good job, Jess. I'm kidding. We're not done. But yeah. That needs to go on my notes too. Amazing. Because what that does is that puts that positive energy, right? That positive affirmation into our heart, and we can then begin to act on that. We can begin to take the steps towards success. Success doesn't come overnight. It doesn't. Success takes hard work. It takes grit. It takes perseverance. It takes practice. But it also takes a gift. It takes a gift that we are willing to freely and willingly share with everyone around us. What kind of life would this be if we all just only watched out for ourselves? I mean, I think we kind of can see that somewhat in life today, in how society's changed and manifested into an instant gratification type of world. But I'm sorry, we don't need to die on camera. I about choked on that. So we can overcome those old self-sabotaging patterns, beliefs. We can get rid of that. Get rid of that weight off of our shoulders, right? It's heavy. If you think, like, if you pay attention when you tell yourselves those negative stories, be aware of where it presents in your body. Be aware of where it presents in your body, and begin to really identify every single piece that you can about that limiting belief, and prepare yourself with that new response that you've been practicing. So let's see. Obviously, it's going to take effort. I'm looking at my notes while I'm talking. It's going to take effort and awareness, strategy. We have to be constantly learning from our mistakes. If we make a mistake and we don't learn from it, again, like I said, we're always going to do the same thing. We're always going to have the same results. So we have to learn from our mistakes and then move from that point on with our choices and our actions based on those experiences that we learned from. Because the more we learn and we grow, right, the better we're going to be prepared when we face situations that maybe are going to cause us to be triggered, or cause us to feel those limiting beliefs, cause us to feel that sabotage of ourselves. We have to think bigger. We have to think bolder. And sometimes we get so lost in our own thoughts and our own patterns that we lose sight of what's most important, of where we want to go, of the bigger picture of who it might impact. We need to ask ourselves better questions. Sometimes questions are the keys that unlock the problems. Okay? Sometimes the keys lock those problems in place as well. So it depends on which you want to do. Do you want to unlock those patterns? Do you want to unlock the door so you can get rid of those problems? Or do you want to lock the door and stay captive in those limiting belief stories that we tell ourselves? For me, I don't want to stay locked up. I don't want to stay stuck. I want to be bold. I want to be courageous. I want to be ambitious. So anytime I'm handed that key, I'm going to unlock that door and get rid of that thought. Because that's who I am, and that's who you are. And you have a whole group of women around you in this group that want to be there for you and support you and encourage you. Because we all struggle. We all struggle. And we have to be there for one another. We have to be. We want to be. The women that are inside this group, I know that we all struggle with the same things. And how do I know that? Because you guys answered questions inside the group when you first joined. I've had conversations with you guys. I've gotten messages from you guys after trainings like tonight's. We all struggle with the same things. And that's where I get these trainings and these topics, is from talking with you guys. So we have to really identify, what have I learned from this experience? What would I do different, right? What would be the benefits? How will changing how I react or respond get me to what I want faster? And those are going to help expand our mind, expand our options, expand our worldview, and give us a better mindset as we move forward. And treat it like an experiment. Why not? We didn't master it overnight. We have to stumble sometimes, but then we have to get back up. Because it doesn't matter how many times you stumble, as long as you always get up. And I saw a quote, where was it? I saw a quote the other day that said somebody quit today. Somebody quit their business today. But it wasn't me. And I think that's so powerful. They were talking about it in the manner of business, but you can make that for life too. Somebody quit life today, but it wasn't me. And because you're here, because you're present, and you're taking this time for yourself, girl, you ain't giving up, right? I know some days are hard and you might want to give up, but you're strong, you're bold, and you're courageous. So just look at it as an experiment. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to grow? I don't see that as a bad thing. But you're not going to be changed overnight. So always explore the solutions. Explore ways that you can continue to change that lower story to an upper story. And then adjust your expectations. Again, go back and watch that first night training of the workshop series. I believe I have a yellow sweater on, about living life with gratitude instead of expectations. Expectations, when we live by expectations, we unknowingly put an expectation on someone to do something, and that person doesn't know that expectation was placed upon them. Ultimately, then that leads back to disappointment. Either we're disappointed or they're disappointed in themselves because they let you down and they didn't even know they were not supposed to let you down. Expectations are dangerous. They are so dangerous. And if you guys haven't watched that training, like, it's amazing. And I'm not saying that about myself. I'm saying that the things that God downloaded into my spirit and into my heart for that training were impactful. And I've done those things in my own life. And I see that change in myself. So I know what it can do for you guys. I know the freedom and joy and confidence that you guys can have by doing just that one little thing. So disappointment is only going to be based upon the outcome that you place upon yourself or that you place upon other people. So live with a life of gratitude. I'm grateful for the socks on my floor. I'm grateful for the kids' dishes. I'm grateful for the ability that I have a job that I maybe don't like. One day at a time. And as you grow and as you get stronger, we can change those things one piece at a time. So sometimes you may have to take risks, right? Because those things are scary. Doing that work is scary. But there's no better time than now to get started. No better time. Oh, I see you have a comment, Jamie, in just a second. Something Jamie's been working on is not reliving and dwelling on undesirable thoughts and conversations from the past. When I notice that happen, I move to a thought of something I'm grateful for instead. So beautiful. I'm so proud of you. Absolutely. That is an example of living with gratitude instead of expectation. And Jamie, I'm sure you would share, and if you want to share, go for it. But Jamie, when you do that and then you're grateful, doesn't that feel so much better? Doesn't that feel so much more light? Such a great example. And in my example of the dirty socks on the floor, you guys, I don't like dirty feet. I don't like dirty socks. I expected the kids to pick them up. I still do. Don't get me wrong. I still do. But now, because I've shifted and done that work and moved to an attitude of gratitude rather than expectations for everything to be perfect, those little socks on the floor, can't cry. Those socks on the floor mean that I'm a mom. And they mean that I have lives to change, children that depend on me, that I have pieces of myself in their bodies, in their heart, in their souls. It means I have children with breath in their lungs. That's moving to an attitude of gratitude. That's the difference. Or I could be like, ugh, I'm so tired of these socks. Don't worry, they still get picked up, but probably not as fast as they used to, because now I'm like, oh, look, there's socks on the floor. So you have to take time to reflect. I gotta get rid of this blanket, you guys. I'm getting hot. I have to take time. Yes, I have my blanket. It's not the unicorn one tonight. So in the end, people who get ahead are the ones that are actually going to take the time to consistently go through their daily choices, their daily decisions, their daily actions, and continue to examine them and look at them and make them better. We have to grow. We can't be stuck. We can't be stuck. That's what it amounts to. We get stuck, we're never going to change. We're always going to stay in that victim mentality. And that's self-sabotaging our success. Successful people learn what worked, what didn't work, and then they adjust their sails accordingly. And you guys can do that too. You guys are bold, I should say you girls, you ladies, are bold and courageous women. We just have to take the time to go, okay, this worked today, this didn't work today. Tomorrow I'm going to try this. And adjust your sails. You're never stuck. I promise there have been some times in life that I have felt stuck. Downright, I'm gonna cuss, downright stuck. in a prison, and I wanted out. And I wanted out fast, but I didn't know how. And I felt stuck. And guess what I had to do? That worked. That didn't work. I'm going to do this. I'm going to adjust. I'm going to take a different approach. And I'm going to get the hell out. Right? Don't tell me that if you were stuck in an ocean and you were on a sinking ship, that you'd sit there and you'd do the same damn thing. No. You'd be looking for every option you could to stay alive. And that's ultimately what this means and amounts to. You're writing your legacy. You're writing your story. Every day you're writing your story. So you have to self-reflect to be able to gain the insight, the perspective, and the understanding of, okay, what things do I need to change? What areas do I need to transform? How can I become the best version of myself? You have to. Because otherwise self-sabotage is like a bomb, right? It's going to explode, and it's going to be loud, and it's going to be sudden. It's not going to feel good. It's going to throw us miles away from where we want to be, from the success that we want to see. But there's no excuses. Because guess what? The only person you can depend on that can consciously control you is you. You're the only person that can move that pin, that can move that sail. But you have to want to. You have to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, because where your eyes go, your focus goes. So if your eyes are focused on the pain and the heartache and the struggles that you've had in life, that's where your eyes are going to go. But if you focus on the joys and the successes and not the failures, the joys and the successes and the things that went right, the dreams that you have, that's where your eyes are going to go. Which direction do you want your eyes to go? Which direction? You don't have to be stuck in self-sabotage mode. You don't have to be stuck with self-abandonment. You are so much more, and you are worth so much more as well. So the choice is yours. It's in your hands. And you know what to do and how to do it. But the real question is when you're going to get started. When are you finally going to make that commitment to yourself to stop the behavior, to stop the painful thoughts, to stop the self-hate that is keeping you from living the life that you truly want to live? Why are your goals not worth it? Why are your dreams not worth it? Why are you not worth it? You are, but you have to make that choice. You have to take it into your hands and make the change. I got a little excited there. Felt like I just got off preaching a sermon. So, again, tonight we talked about what self-sabotage is, ways that we might do that to ourselves, how it shows up in our lives and what it looks like, and the steps to take to eliminate those patterns. And once this live posts and it's saved in the group, my team and I will go back in and we'll edit it, edit the description to put timestamps of where we started discussing each thing. So that if there's a certain area or a certain thing that you want to listen to or talk about, listen to or hear about, then you can go find that timestamp. But what I would encourage you to do if you're watching the replay, definitely make sure you put some notes in the comments for us. Let us see your story. Let us see how this has impacted you or your light bulb moments that you've had. Give us some, even if you want to, give us some ideas on what other topics you'd like to see. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. My heart is to serve you. My heart is to give and pour love, light, support, and breath into your soul. into your heart, into your dreams, because you can rewrite your story. You can. And you can rewrite that story from trauma to freedom any day. You just have to grab it and say, today's a day. Today's a day I'm going to get started. I'm going to begin the work. And it might be scary as hell. And it might hurt some days. But I'm going to do the work. And if you decide that, I would love to wrap my arm around you. And I know my girls, my team, that they would love to do the same thing. We'll wrap our arms around you and encourage you and love you and support you through that, because you're worth it. You are so worth it. And before we go tonight, I just want to remind you, as I do every time, that your soul's calling brought you here. Your past, it's been preparing you all along. And your future is waiting for you to shape it. So I can't wait for next week. Next week's training topic is going to be about shame and how shame affects us. So definitely get those notifications turned on. We want to see you here. We want you to join in with us. We want a bold, courageous tribe of women coming together and saying, yes, let's lift each other up. Let's make this change together. Let's tell each other our stories, our heartaches, our struggles, and build one another up all across the country. So next week, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard, and we will be talking about shame. Keep an eye on on the group. If you have friends for posts and things like that, if you have friends that you feel this series may be beneficial to or may be helpful to, definitely send them the link to the group. It's bit.ly, so bit.ly. Actually, I'm going to drop that in the comments. Bring your girl friends next week. bit.ly, Jamie Marie. So just share this link with them, and it'll bring them straight into the group so that they can join us. Bring them in as soon as you can. We would love to have them come in with us. And then if you add them, send them that link right away, they can get in before next week's training and they can get caught up on like tonight's. If this is something that touched you and resonated with your heart, I encourage you to share that link. Share that link that says bit.ly/Jamie Marie. Whew. I hope somebody feels this in their heart. My kids are calling. Hold on. Decline. Share that link out. And share. Hey, inside our tribe of women, tonight we talked about self-sabotage and how it impacts our lives or how it impacts our success. You would so love this group. Come join here and give them that link. Bring your friends in, guys. If you have an amazing color of lipstick or food, are you going to keep it to yourself? No. Share it with your friends. Bring them in. So, obviously my kids are calling, so that means Mommy's running late on her live. So, I'm going to hop off here, and I cannot wait to see you next week. I am so grateful that you are here and that you're committed, because that means you're a bold and courageous woman. I can't wait to talk to you. Have an amazing night.